Hey everyone, in this video we're going to be talking about the new S-Class free-to-play character, Erin. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more content and information. Now, Erin seems like a really good character to me. This leadership skill is the same leadership skill as Alice, and Alice is still a relevant character today. Erin provides that plus 40% attack and a huge bonus to AP when attacking for all alert and strong characters. This means she will pair really well with either Krista or James, depending on which free-to-play gold brick Toon you picked at the start. Her rush is at 76 AP, so it's a little high compared to some of the other S-Class characters that we've recently been getting. She deals 650% damage up to 3 enemies, and those enemies also get impaired for 1 turn, which is a pretty good rush. 650% is pretty high. Her base attack is 3,870, and then her defense 3440, and HP 3440 as well. Erin's active skill is a nice turn 2 focus, and I think that's really important. That second turn focus means that any Toons like Princess who use taunt on the second turn on defense will not be as effective because Erin has the whole team focused, and as you know, when your Toons are focused, they can attack around shield characters, so human shields, and your Toons are not affected by taunt or confuse. Lastly, Erin does have a bound weapon, plus 30% attack, a medium bonus to AP when attacking, and then AP down. I'm a little bit disappointed in her weapon. I like when bound weapons are off-trait weapons or unique, but I could actually craft this weapon. I think there's actually a weapon that you can pull from 4-star tokens that has these exact stats on them. It would have been nice even if the minus 30 AP was increased to minus 50 AP. Overall, Erin is a huge improvement over the last war Toon being Kapoor, and I think this should have been our original war Toon because Kapoor is basically just a big tanky character that might give you an extra turn on defense, but doesn't do much else, especially because a Toon like Princess, who can normalize Kapoor, breaks his specialist skill, which usually keeps him alive. I really like that they came out with a Toon with a leadership ability, especially one that's free to play, and one that is so inviting for people to use their Krista and their James, sorry. So this would be an example of a type of team that I would try to put together, like give or take. And instead of Alice as the lead, it would of course be Erin, who has the same leadership ability. So I just wanted to kind of put her in there as a placement holder. And the design of this team is very free to play friendly, because with Erin being a free to play Toon, Glenn can be replaced with really any command Toon that you have. Ivanova, of course, is a free-to-play Toon that you can get from the Season Store, who's also an S-Class right away. We have Diego, who was available with comic books, and he was also a war Toon for a while. And this Toon could be subbed out for really any Toon that gives you an attack up or a defense down to the enemy. I just like Diego personally because I've always found him to be really effective. He has defense down and impair. And then to top it off, I have James here. This could also be Krista very easily because that leadership skill works for both of them. I think the biggest problem that I have when comparing Alice and Erin is that although Erin is an S-Class Toon, she doesn't have a buff with her rush. Like Alice just does so much with her rush, and I think if she was maybe promoted, she would do better, but still this video is to focus on Erin. This is just another free-to-play type team you could make. You could use Marlon and Rosie in this team instead of Ivanova, just because Ivanova's active skill and Erin's active skill are pretty much the same thing, other than Ivanova can give a plus 25% attack buff on top of the focus to the whole team. So I think that you could either sub in another buff character or a debuff character in exchange for Marlon and Rosie or in Diego's place, and just because my last video was about showing how you can manipulate Sean to do a lot of damage, I've also constructed a Sean team here and needed the yellow Toons for the 8% AP weapons just to make sure that Sean has enough AP on the third turn to rush. So taking a look at the first team as mentioned before, just against a Rolito lead, so there's no defensive buffs on this team, so it's not as devastating as a team that has, a Pete lead or something, or even an attacking lead. The main problem with a lead like this is that your team is susceptible to bleeding out, and I could have used Glenn's active skill to recover the bleed, but instead I'm just going to rely upon the power of James to finish the team early with Diego's defense down. This next match now is kind of going to show you why having an S-class leader is so important, and it's because Alice just died on the first turn, which means it's now 4-on-5. She wasn't mainly to be an attacking Toon, but she does give a great buff, and she's a reviver. So for instance, she could revive a Toon right now if she was alive, and now I'm stuck using 3 Toons instead. I still have my damage dealer being James, but I lost Princess, who was also a heavy damage dealer for this team. So now this is just a long match that really wouldn't work out well in war. If I could keep Erin alive, this team would have a better shot. Finally, when fighting against a true defensive lead with Pete as the leader, still has some attackers on defense, being Priya as well as Krista, so my team is susceptible only because I'm not sure how much damage I'm going to be able to produce, but we just need heavy damage dealers on our attack team, of course. That Alice buff does a lot for this team, so I do worry how a team like this would fare if instead it was an Erin lead who does a significant amount of damage herself on her rush. So I wrote an article recently about team compositions and what components you really need to make an effective attack team, and I mentioned in it about the value of having characters that can fill multiple roles. So for example, having a true leader Toon like Alice, she's also a support character because she's able to buff the whole team. Erin, on the other hand, would be another damage dealer, which is pretty ideal in an attacking team, of course. I don't know if I'm going to use her very much personally, but that's just because I have Mercer and I have S-Class Priya. And to me right now, the meta is still heavy blue. So I would be a little scared to run Erin on offense against some very blue defenses that are tanky with Frost and Shiva, double Priyas, Princess, and so on. The practicality of this Toon is very high though, especially for free-to-play players, because this Toon is going to be free for everyone because you can get Rotten Heads during war, usually in milestones and hopefully still in rank rewards, because I would like to see war tokens and the Rotten Heads brought back for rank rewards, because she actually does fit in with a lot of free-to-play characters and free-to-play Toons that, are available to everyone. I would like to see more on her active skill and on her rush, but when we compare it to Kapoor, who needed the same amount of AP to rush, only applied 1500 MAME damage, which is nearly nothing when you have S-Class Toons that have over 10,000 HP and lots of people run MAME resist. His saving grace for me was that his rush gave plus 80% defense to all teammates for 2 turns. His specialist skill didn't really wow me near the end, only because, as I mentioned, Princess can normalize him, which basically throws this specialist skill out the window and just makes him a Toon that you can take out in 1 or 2 attacks depending on who you're using. His active skill was pretty annoying by being able to heal almost continually, but as long as you had a Priya to daze him, or you confused him, stunned him, and not impaired, but taunted him, he wouldn't use his active skill anyway, or if you were running Princess, he was probably dead by turn 3. So in many cases, Erin is a big upgrade on Kapoor. Kapoor was a very defensive Toon, but now Erin is a very offensive Toon, and I think she has a lot of possibility. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of Erin, or if you have any unique ideas on how to run her, because her active skill is actually pretty relevant, but I would say that about any Toon that can focus on the first or second turn, just because of how powerful focus actually is. Her rush, as I mentioned, is high in damage. It's low on the side of impairing those enemies for only a single turn, but I guess that's just to help prevent rushes from going off. I would have liked to see her AP drop to about 66 AP, because 76 is just too high compared to a lot of the other S-Class Toons out there, and her weapon just doesn't bring it all together for me. I think her weapon should have been something unique. It would have been nice to see her with a unique weapon, something like a 50% chance of resisting stun, for example. So then she would have a chance against some of the Mercer lead teams where she wouldn't start out stunned. but I do doubt that we would get a character like that, especially a free one, because I feel like that's definitely the type of character that could be made a premium character. I'm honestly still waiting for a character that has a lead skill similar to Lance, where Lance has a 50% chance to resist maim on the entire team. If we see a leader that has a 50% chance to resist stun, everyone will be buying up that character. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching and listening to my video. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of Erin and if you're going to get her.